identify who I am.
Yes.
If I've been detained.
Yes.
And if I've been detained legally. California state law says that if I'm being detained and I'm being charged with a crime, that I have to identify myself to you.
So obviously,
it says that you have to articulate. Can I have the sergeant, please? Could I have the sergeant, please?
Yes, he's right here, listening to our conversation.
Sergeant. Hello, Sergeant. Can you please intervene here, please, sir? And guys, listen. I mean, all due respect, I just bought dinner for a California Highway Patrolman tonight. I have all due respect for law enforcement. I do, but I also have to insist that my constitutional rights be protected. You have not articulated the suspicion.
Like to talk to supervisors right here waiting for you.
Yes, I'm sorry. Sergeant, hello.
What is going on tonight?
I was on my way home from the casino, and a friend of mine died. And I was on Facebook writing her brother, sitting right here, when this gentleman pulled up. And asked me what I was doing. I told him what I was doing, and I told him that I lived right here.
Okay.
And then he started asking for ID. I asked him if I was obliged to show that. He said that I was. I asked him what crime did he suspect me of. He said, well, I don't. There's been no crime. He said it. It's on the tape numerous times. There's been no crime. He doesn't suspect me of a crime. And then he wants me to ID and then claims that I'm being lawfully detained, but yet he suspects me of no crime. That is not the way the California statute is written. I'm just asking you all.
The California statute is written that if there's reasonable suspicion to believe that you may be involved in criminal activity, the officer can detain you.
What criminal activity?
For
I've asked him.
purposes.
I've asked him to describe to me what criminal activity he believes that I'm involved in.
There's
No, you didn't. You said.
Sir,
you
did
said
you want
that.
to talk to me, or did
I'm
you?
sorry. I'm sorry, Sergeant. I don't mean to be disrespectful, sir. But
I appreciate
But
that.
you know as well as I do right now that this is not a legal detaining.
This is a legal detention
For what
based
crime,
on
sir?
the amount of residential and vehicle burglary that have occurred in the area.
Okay.
Which
and
is
you
why-
that you suspect me of.
Sure, right now, because
Okay, and what have I done that gives you that suspicion?
you're in the area, parked in an area
That I told
where
this gentleman I live in this neighborhood.
You don't live right here.
I live right behind that model.
Okay, what's your address?
3854 Hampton Way.
3854
Yes, sir.
Hampton Way. Okay, so if you could give that information sooner, we could probably get to the bottom of
But
this.
sir, I don't.
quicker,
But sir, I understand where you're coming from, and I'm not trying to make this difficult.
So,
But sir,
I know you don't want to give your name, but what's your first name? How's that? So we could talk on a personal level.
At this
My
point,
name's
sir.
Jeremy.
At this point, sir, I'm sorry. At this point, I'm sorry.
Okay. If you don't want to give your first name, that's fine. But you live in this neighborhood, correct?
I plead the fifth.
Okay. You plead the fifth.
Yes, sir.
If you do live in this neighborhood, I'm sure you would appreciate the officers out here making sure that your house and your cars aren't getting broken
Sir,
into,
I do
correct?
appreciate that.
Okay. That's exactly what these officers are trying to do.
I appreciate that, sir.
Okay. So when there's a suspicious vehicle parked where nobody normally parks, with somebody sitting in it,
Well,
okay, that's common behavior for people that are breaking
can
into
I
vehicles.
can I
and
say
houses.
there is a security guard named Nate that patrols here, and he stopped here 3 or 4 times. He smoked a cigarette with me the other night. I've told him the first time I was here, he came over and asked me. I told him because I was talking with somebody and I didn't want to flick cigarettes in my roommate's driveway. In my roommate's driveway. So because I didn't want to flick cigarettes in my, I'll tell you what, I will do something for you. Is it okay if I reach for a piece of mail?
You have a piece of mail with your...
Under this visor.
Yeah, that's fine.
What do you want to confirm on the address? Because we don't know who it is.
Who lives there?
Well, you know what? Actually, I've brought it into my house, so. Actually, it's in my house now, so my apologies.
I didn't catch it.
What was your address one more time, sir?
Sir, I plead the fifth.
Okay. I believe it was 3854. Yeah. Something.
You're gonna find my roommate's name there.
Okay, well that doesn't help us very much, does it?
Well, it doesn't, sir, and it doesn't help me very much. I would like to be free to go on my way.
Okay, well you're not free to go right now.
Okay? Because you suspect me of a crime.
Correct.
Which one is that?
As I explained to you before,
Yes, sir.
we have reasonable suspicion
Of what, sir?
to believe that you're involved in criminal activity.
Based
here.
on what, sir?
I've explained that to you several times.
You haven't based your suspicion. What is your what have I done that is suspicious?
Let me explain something to you. When people break into houses and cars, okay, they usually come in numbers.
Okay.
One person commonly waits in the car while the other one commits the theft and comes back to the car.
Okay.
Okay. The car usually parks in an area that has quick access
Right
to
out
the
in
main
front here,
road.
right out in front here on the main road, right out in
Correct.
front. Yep. Okay. Parked right out here in front. I've been here for about 40 minutes. Okay.
So when a security guard sees that, he knows to call, which he did,
Okay.
which brought us out here
Right.
to talk to you.
Yes, sir. You did.
Now, when we come to talk to you, we're trying to confirm why
Sure.
you're here.
And he confronted me and he asked me what I was doing, and I told him what I was doing.
Right, but it's also
And-
common
and-
for
and-
people to lie, right?
Well, do you suspect me of lying?
I don't know. I don't
Okay,
know
well,
you.
if you don't suspect me of lying, sir, and he doesn't suspect me of a crime, then
we do
can't.
suspect you of criminal activity. That's
What is
why-
the criminal activity, and what is your
Okay, we're not
articulate?
gonna go-
Sir,
we're
sir,
not
I'm
gonna
asking
go
you,
back and
Sergeant,
forth.
Sergeant, please, with all due respect, please, I'm asking you to articulate your suspicion.
I just did to you.
You're not, sir. You're not. You're saying that crimes happen. You're saying that houses are broken into. You're saying that getaway drivers sometimes sit out near the road. Sir, that does not articulate
All of that adds to reasonable suspension to detain you. Okay.
to detain me.
Correct.
Okay, for doing a legal activity, for sitting on the side of this
Possibly
road
being
reading
involved in
Facebook,
illegal activity.
possibly being involved. What do you articulate that suspicion was
Okay,
based
you
on?
can stand by with my partner right here. We're going to confirm the information that you've given us so far. We've got some information to check who you are. We're going to go for that. 6/20. As long as we can confirm that you're not doing anything illegal.
Sir, you don't have the right to detain me right now. You do not have the right to detain me right now. You are acting outside of the color of law, detaining me without an articulable suspicion. I appreciate what you all do. I have respect for law enforcement. I'm frankly beside myself that I'm beside myself. I've been told no less than a dozen times that I'm not suspected of a crime. This gentleman, no crime. I don't
just told
suspect you
why
of a
you were
crime.
detained.
He told me I wasn't suspected of a crime.
Well, I explained to you why you're being detained.
But you don't suspect me of a crime.
That is not true.
Well, then articulate the suspicion, please, sir.
We've already articulated.
No, you haven't. You articulated that sometimes houses get broken into.
Not sometimes, a lot.
A lot. So how does that... Sir, do you follow me? Am I being unreasonable?
I believe you are being unreasonable, yes. I think you're misunderstanding the fact of law.
No, the fact of law is that you need to have articulable suspicion.
We do. We've
Of
explained
what,
it to you
sir?
over and over and over.
No, you
again.
haven't.
Okay, do you realize that to detain somebody doesn't mean that they have to be committing the offense?
No,
okay?
no.
No,
It means
because
that you have to suspect them of it.
to detain somebody, there has to be a reasonable belief that somebody is committing or about to commit
And
criminal activity.
what is that reasonable belief?
Like my sergeant said to you, like
Yes, sir.
Officer Ferguson said to you, and like I explained to you before,
Yes, sir.
this area
Okay.
during this time of night,
Yes, sir.
especially on weekends,
Yes, sir.
gets hit at this time
Okay.
for vehicle burglaries,
Okay.
as well as residential burglaries in
Okay.
these new homes,
Okay.
especially the model
So which
homes
one do
right
you
where you're
suspect
at.
me of? Vehicle or residential?
I don't know. Both.
You suspect me of both?
Yes.
Based on what articulable suspicion?
I just told you what's been happening over here.
Okay.
How you're parked.
Okay.
The time you've been parked
So because
here,
I'm sitting
the amount
here-
of time, where you're parked at.
Okay.
And especially because a security guard that works here
Okay.
every single night,
Okay.
that knows who lives here,
Okay.
who comes and who goes,
Okay.
doesn't recognize you or your car.
Okay, so
also adds to that suspicion
Okay.
as to why you're here.
So because I'm sitting here, not involved in an illegal activity, I'm sitting here legal.
That's what we're here to investigate, is whether or not you are involved in illegal activity.
Well, then that's not articulable suspicion. Whether or not I'm
See,
involved
sir,
is not.
I think what you're misunderstanding is the difference between reasonable suspicion for detention and
Sir,
probable cause to arrest somebody for a crime.
Sir, unfortunately, I think what you're misunderstanding is the Constitution
I'm not.
and California's Constitution.
I'm not.
You are, sir. You are. I'm sorry. With all due respect, sir, I absolutely respect what you do, but I'm sorry, sir. You're incorrect. You're incorrect, sir.
How long have you lived in the neighborhood? Because I would imagine that if you saw a car that you didn't recognize in your neighborhood parked
Well, Nate's driven by
for as
here a
long as
number.
you've been
The
parked,
security.
I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you.
I'm sorry,
personally,
sir. I'm sorry.
Living in a neighborhood, if
Okay.
you saw a car you didn't recognize this late at night, sitting there
Reading and smoking.
doing whatever in a neighborhood that you live in,
If he
that
wasn't
you
doing
don't recognize,
if he wasn't doing anything
would it
illegal,
bother you?
Not if he wasn't doing anything illegal.
Let's see, I beg to differ. I think it would bother you. I think you'd find it suspicious if somebody you didn't recognize
I might
was
walk
just
up.
sitting
I
in your
might walk
neighborhood.
up and say, "Hey, how are you? Who are you?" I might do
Because
that.
you'd want, but why?
And
But why would you do that?
because it's my right to do it. I live here.
But why would you do it though? I get it that it's your right, but why would you want to do
Because
that?
I may be curious.
Because you want to know what they're up to.
No, I may be curious.
Curious
and then,
why?
And then if they told me, oh, hey, man, I was reading my phone here and smoking a cigarette, I'd probably smoke a cigarette with them and go back home.
So you would take them at their word because people don't lie?
Well, sir, you don't suspect me of lying, do you?
I don't know.
Well, then you don't suspect me of a crime.
Based on how agitated you are,
I'm not sure I'm agitated because we've been here now 15 minutes
Right.
and I've not committed the crime.
right, when we could have easily sent you right on your way.
Well, sure, you could have easily stepped all over my constitutional rights and sent me on my way. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
You could have done that.
Well, I am really sorry that you see it that way. 'Cause
Sir,
it is not
sir,
that
please
way.
don't make it please don't make it
But you
you
keep
against
talking about
me
how much you
because it's
respect
not.
us and things of that nature.
Yeah, I do
I'm here
respect
to
you, but not
respect
to
you
the
as well.
degree that I'm going to, not to the degree, sir, that I'm going to submit to outside of the color of law. I'm
No one's
I can't-
asking you
I
to.
can't do it. You are.
I'm not.
If you weren't asking me to do that, I'd be at home right now. You're asking me to. You're. As a matter of fact, you're not asking. You're forcing now.
Sir, if we identified who you were and confirmed that you live in the neighborhood, we wouldn't even ask you to go home.
Yeah. Well.
'Cause you're-
Sir. You know what? Here's what I plan on doing. As soon as you guys leave, I plan on finishing my article, and probably smoking another cigarette, and then I will go home. But you're acting outside of the color of law.
Okay.
You don't suspect me of a crime. You've not articulated yet what crime you suspect me of, and yet we're still here and I'm still detained. I'm asking if I could be free to go.
You're not. No.
Okay, I'm not free to go.
And we've already told you I don't know how many
And you
times.
haven't told me. You haven't told me
what
a crime.
crimes we suspect you of
No,
being
what
involved in.
crimes? Now it's crimes. You suspect me of
Yeah,
crimes. now.
vehicle burg and residential burg.
That's
are
what
two
you
different
expect.
things.
That's what you
Yes.
suspect me of.
Yes.
Based on what, sir?
Oh,
based on
man.
what, please?
I don't know. You're gonna have to review your video because
Can you
it's
do
been
me a
said
favor?
so many times.
Can you do me a
to
favor? Charge me.
Charge you with what? I'm
Charge
still
me.
trying to figure out if you're doing those things.
That's you're trying to figure out if I am doing
That's
them.
part of the investigation.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Because you don't know that I'm doing. Because you have no
Right.
evidence that shows I am. Is
We
that
have,
correct?
we have a reasonable suspicion.
And
to
what is
believe
it
that you
based
may
on?
be
What is
involved
it
in
based on?
Based on, I told you.
Based on that
what
I'm sitting here
happens
in my car at night, which is legal.
What happens here?
Which is legal. What
Yes.
happens here has nothing to do with me, sir.
It is because you're here.
No, sir. No, sir. Because I'm here.
Especially
So
because
I'm
of
suspicious
security
because
guard.
I'm here.
Yeah, because of what happens here, what you're doing here, absolutely. Especially because the security guard that is very familiar with the
Right,
area,
right.
the officer that works out in this area that's
Right.
very
Why don't you
familiar
call
with this
Nate?
area.
Why don't you call Nate, the security guard?
I don't know who Nate is.
Nate's the
I don't
security
know Nate's
guard.
phone number.
He's the security guard.
He is not the security guard that's in this complex.
Why don't, he is the security guard that rides around in the black Charger. Yes, he is.
Okay.
Nate is his name.
That's
Nate is
not
his
Nate.
name.
Unfortunately, sir, his name is not Nate.
Call the security guard out here. Please call the security
All right, Paul,
guard
I'm
out
gonna
here.
go confirm that you live where you say you're gonna, where you live. And then
I don't know how
you're
you
on
would
your way.
confirm that, sir.
You said you have a roommate that stays there.
I don't know how you would confirm it. I don't know how you're going to confirm that.
Hampton Way.
What is it you're trying to confirm?
That you do live in the
are supposed
neighborhood.
To be here.
What do you mean that I'm supposed to be here? Do you all understand that you don't have the right to determine where someone is supposed to be if they're somewhere legally? Do you not understand that you don't have that right? You don't have the right or authority to do that. And if you did, I'd be in handcuffs right now.
Well, you're very close to
Oh,
it.
am I? For what crime, sir? For what crime?
For delaying, obstructing my investigation.
I'm delaying and obstructing an investigation that is not a legal investigation.
Yes, it is.
It's not based on articulable suspicion.
Yes, it is.
You've said a dozen times for this camera, no crime. You've said it a dozen times and you know it.
Well, I just reviewed my camera and I think I said a whole bunch of different stuff.
Yeah,
so.
you said a whole bunch of indistinguishable different shit. Right. All except for your articulable suspicion.
3 officers have already explained it
All
to
3
you.
officers have told me that car burglaries, house burglaries, and yada, 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 and jaywalking. Are you kidding me? Come on. Are you kidding me? You must be kidding me.
I'm not
You had
certain
anything to
where
drink
jaywalking
tonight,
came in.
Paul?
No, sir. I don't. No.
Use drugs or anything like that?
No, sir.
Under the care of a doctor and prescription medications we should know about?
No, sir. Would you like to see the article I was reading about my dead friend? Would you like to see that? Would that prove it to you?
I'd just love to see your ID. You probably would have been home, and so would I.
I know.
you don't
I
wanna-
know.
you don't wanna
I know. But you
cooperate.
know what? You're, sir. I promise you. I would show you my ID. What I would love is for my rights to be
Oh,
protected.
we've already explained it.
You haven't explained anything. You've explained a dozen times how you don't suspect me of any crime.
We have
But that you wanna find out.
suspicion to determine that there is crime afoot.
What crime, sir?
We have reasonable suspicion.
What crime
to
is afoot, sir?
contact you.
What crime is afoot, sir?
A ton of
You can
burglaries.
a ton of burglaries are
Yes,
afoot.
yes,
They're afoot.
yes.
And you suspect me in those.
Yeah, right
You
now I do.
For what?
Because you can't even identify who you are.
Because, okay,
So
so,
why would-
sir, the California statute says that unless you can articulate your suspicion, I don't have the ID. So that is not illegal, and so you're
So how
basing
long have you
your
lived in
suspicion on the
California?
fact.
How long
sir,
have you lived in California?
California statute,
How long have you lived
sir,
here, sir?
California statute states
long
that
have
you
you lived
cannot
here?
base your suspicion off of
Is
the
your
fact
car
that I refuse
registered
the ID.
Within 10 days of moving to
Sir,
our state?
sir, I refuse the ID,
Is, our
and you
car,
can't.
is your car registered within 10 days of moving to
Sir,
our
you
state?
can. I don't live here, sir. I'm staying here temporarily.
You just said you lived
gave
here.
us the address.
So now you're
I'm-
giving me bad information.
I'm staying here temporarily.
So now you're going to get arrested for providing false information
This is not
to a
my
police
car.
officer.
This is not my car.
Good. Maybe I need to verify the registered owner, and you're not the registered owner.
I don't think
Maybe
that you
you're
have
not supposed to
articulable
have this
suspicion
car.
to do
Maybe-
that, sir.
Maybe you stole this car.
I don't think you have articulable suspicion to do that.
What? You snot your car?
I don't think
Whose
you have
car is it?
articulable suspicion to do that.
Whose car is it?
6-12-31.
Gentlemen, for what it's worth, I apologize.
vehicle
I apologize
tomorrow.
that you're here, and I apologize that you feel like that I'm being uncooperative. I do.
Well, I
Because
don't
it's the
feel
last
that
thing
you're
that I
being
want to.
uncooperative.
I'm sorry,
You
sir.
are being uncooperative.
Sir, you know what, sir? If this was a legitimate detainment, I would absolutely be cooperative. You have my word that I would. It's not legitimate. It's not legal. You have no articulable suspicion.
So who are you, Paul or William?
16 minutes.
Could have been done 11 minutes
Could have
ago.
been done. Could have been done the moment I told you what I was doing, sir. Could have been done the moment I told you what I was doing. This is 17 minutes now.
You ever heard the term trust but verify?
Have you ever heard the term articulable suspicion?
I have.
you heard that?
I live it.
You do?
I work it. That's
You
what I
do?
do for a
You,
living.
obviously, sir, you don't. Obviously, you don't, sir. Obviously, you don't. Because you know as well as I do that you have absolutely no articulable suspicion
Well,
of any
unfortunately,
crime.
sir, I'm not going to
Okay.
risk violating your constitutional rights
Yeah.
for my livelihood.
You're
That's just
not.
not
Well,
what I'm
well
gonna
you're
do.
doing it right now, sir. Whether you know it or
I'm
not,
not.
sir, you're doing it right now.
Well, I do-
and you know
I do
what,
know
sir?
that I'm
You
not.
should read the statute
I have.
because you're doing it right now.
I'm not.
You yourself have said burglaries, car break-ins. That's not articulable suspicion,
Absolutely
sir.
it
You know
is.
what else happens, sir? Murders and rapes.
You're
that
right, they do.
happens. You know what else happens? Bombings and shootings. Those happen.
You're right, they do.
Yeah, they do. And so, do you suspect me of that?
No, I don't.
Why not?
Because I don't know of any shots fired calls that have come out over here since you've been here.
And if you had one, if you had heard one, you'd suspect me.
It really depends on the situation.
Yeah.
I can't what if a scenario that's not true because I can't really go through those facts.
When you pulled up to my car and I turned on my light for you and sat straight up in my seat so that you could see me with my hands on the steering
You're
wheel.
waiting for me to approach on the wrong side. I surprised you on your passenger side.
You surprised me? Yeah,
You
yeah.
were looking this
Yeah,
way
I
to see
thought
if
this
Pop
was a
get out.
UFO. Yeah, I thought that was a UFO right there. You're ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. You are ridiculous. And I do apologize that you feel like that I'm uncooperating. I'm sorry that you feel like that I'm holding you up. I'm sorry.
You're delaying our investigation.
No, sir, you're delaying mine. You're delaying mine. I was reading about my dead friend.
Why would it just
Now I'm being harassed by the police. Can I be free to go?
No.
What crime do you suspect me of?
I'm gonna explain it to you again.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not gonna
You've
explain
explained you've explained, sir, a dozen times you don't suspect me of any crime. If you don't suspect me
is
of any
not what
crime,
I
I have to be free to go.
At no point in time.
What
did
am I
say
being
that
detained for?
I've already explained that.
What
to you
crime,
over
sir?
And over and
I'd
over
like you
again.
to tell me again what crime.
Paul or William or whatever your name is.
Uh-huh.
I've explained that to you. Many
What's your name,
times.
sir, and badge number?
My name is Michael Sweeten.
Mhm.
My ID number is 5713.
What's your name and badge number?
AJ Ferguson 5723.
And you suspect me of what crime?
Burglary and residential
I'm not gonna
burglary.
go-
Burglary and articulate that for me.
I don't have to.
You don't have to. You don't
It's
have to have articulable suspicion.
Paul or William, again, whatever your name is. I wish I knew your first name.
Have
so
you
I
had a
can actually
burglary
talk to you
call?
on a personal level?
Have you had a burglary call?
Yeah, we had a guard tell us that they think there's vehicle
Yes.
does not belong
The
in this
security
area.
That the
guard
vehicle
called.
doesn't belong here is what they told you,
The
right?
security guard that called thought
Yeah.
that you may be up to either vehicle or residential burglary.
Which one?
Either.
Either. Either. Oh, so either.
Yes.
He thought that I might be up to either.
Yes.
And what's his articulable suspicion?
He works in here every single night.
I didn't ask
I've
that.
told you
I
this
asked
so
what's
many
his suspicion.
times.
You guys have no suspicion.
Okay. You keep asking the same question.
You
get the
keep
same
asking
answer,
the same
and then
question
you just
too,
yell at
man.
me. So don't ask me that question.
You
anymore,
can't give me an
because you don't
answer.
want-
You haven't given me an
I
answer.
have. So just stop asking me.
You
the
haven't
same
given me
question
an
because
answer,
it's
man.
pointless. We keep going round and round in the same circle.
Could you get that light out of my face, please?
Nope.
No? How come?
Because I don't know what you're reaching for down
I-
inside your vehicle.
I am not a risk to you.
Yes, you
I am
are.
not a threat to
You're
you.
a major risk to me right now.
I'm
I
a
don't know
major
what's
threat
in
to
your
you
car.
right now.
You're very agitated. I don't know what you have in your car because I
I've
can't
got,
see all the
gentlemen,
nooks and
gentlemen,
crannies of your
gentlemen,
car.
I am not a threat to you.
Okay, again, trust but verify. You're telling me something, but I get lied to on a daily
Well,
basis.
I'm not. Well,
I
then.
don't know.
Well,
okay?
listen. Then I'm not
I
going to.
wanna go home safely to my family
Then
just
all
like
you
you
had to
would,
do was
so-
say that. All you had to do was say that. I won't reach for anything. I don't want you to be. I don't want you to feel that I'm a threat. I'm not a threat. Never committed a violent crime in my life.
Well, I wouldn't be able to know that because I don't know who you are. to
But
be
you
able to
don't have
verify
the
that.
right to know that if you don't suspect me of a crime.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure that you guys learn this. I'm going to make sure that you learn this.
Okay.
You're wrong. You get that light in my face? You're wrong, sir. You're absolutely wrong. You're violating my
absolutely right.
constitutional rights.
If I was, my sergeant would have already told me to get
You're,
back in my
you know
car and
what?
go
Your
home.
sergeant's wrong.
No.
Your sergeant's wrong. Why do you think that your sergeant hasn't smashed my window and put me in handcuffs?
Because we try and do this.
No,
like,
no,
the
it's
most
because he
peaceful
has
way
no
possible.
articulable suspicion and he wants to
Because
keep
we
his
want
job.
to do this the most peaceful way possible. What we're not going to do is just be quick to use our authority
Uh-huh.
to bust your window out.
You
and take
don't
to
have
jail.
authority.
We don't want to do
You don't have authority.
that. Right now.
Right now, you have zilch authority.
Right now, you could go to jail.
For what, sir?
Delaying our investigation.
I'm not delaying
That
it.
is
You
a
don't have
crime.
an investigation.
We do.
You've
We are
not
trying-
articulated the crime
we
that
are
you
trying
suspect
to
me
work
of.
with you so that none of that
Oh
stuff
my
has to
God, you've
happen.
not, you have
We would
not,
much rather look out for your
gentlemen,
well-being
gentlemen,
than
gentlemen,
just break
gentlemen,
your
can I be
car
free to
and
go?
pull you out of
Can
the
I be
car.
free to go?
No, sir.
Can I be free to go?
No, sir.
I have not committed the crime. Can I be free to go?
Is it
All
Paul
right,
or
Paul.
William? Because we haven't been
Paul.
able to figure that out yet.
All right, Paul. Here's the deal. Just for future reference, these officers did have a legal reason to detain. Just hear,
Yes,
hear me
sir.
out for
I'm
just
going to
one
hear you
second,
out,
right?
but you hear me out afterwards, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Certainly. These officers had a legal reason to detain you.
Okay. I wish you'd tell me what it was. I still don't know.
I've already explained it to you. You can rewind it on your tape. And
You've
and you can
explained to
listen
me
it.
why you say
Are
that
you
they
gonna let
have
me
it.
talk or
Yes,
what?
sir. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. With all due,
I'm just going to tell you that I talked to Clark. He confirmed that you live there.
Uh-huh.
So you are free to go.
I knew
Alright.
that.
You are now free to go.
I knew that. I've
Okay.
been free to go.
That is not the case.
I've been free to go. But if I'd left, then I would have been illegally beaten.
Well, no, not necessarily.
Sergeant, listen, with all due respect, if you all feel that I was uncooperative and held you up, I have the utmost respect for law enforcement.
We appreciate
okay?
that.
But I also have constitutional rights, and Sergeant, I'm looking you right in your eye. You know that there's no articulable suspicion, and you know that all three of you have violated my rights.
That is absolutely not the case.
Okay,
but
sir.
You do have a good night, all right?
I will, sir.
Be safe.
Thanks.
Continue
You
to
guys,
educate yourself, okay?
you guys be safe too.
Alrighty.
Good night. Good night. That's how it's done, boys and girls. Right there. Took me 25 minutes, but get the fuck up off my shit.